Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. You probably will see this video a little bit later, but it is currently the beginning of May, and with that it is the beginning of my sabbatical and the beginning of my zero TBR summer. So my goal is to reach a zero TBR this year, and since I will have this summer off, it is the best timing. So I thought, to know where we stand, today we're going to go through all of the books that are currently on my TBR. That means books that I actually own, that are not borrowed from the library or anything like that. I do have some books that don't really count in this one. I have some books where I never had the intention of reading them straight through, so those are not on here. And I will talk about another little exception to this later on in the video. But all of these are the books that count for my zero TBR. So I am surrounded by book stacks right now, and I think we're just gonna start off with the most recent one. So first of all, I want to share with you the books that I received since the year started. So these are not on my TBR project I have, where I try to read the books I owned previously, but these are newer books I acquired. If I want to reach a zero TBR, I still need to read those. So the one I'm currently reading is Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. So this hopefully will get off the TBR very soon. Then I also just got one in the mail, a gift from my booktube friend Clio, which is just so sweet. So thank you again, Clio. That was so surprising to me. I did not expect that at all. I always have a little wish list in the description box of my videos, but I don't expect anyone to buy me the books. I just think it is interesting to see which books I currently really want to have. So I try to keep that one quite accurate to books I would like to buy soon. So Clio got me Starve Acre, and I'm very excited about this one. I wanted to read this one for years, but then I think last year also a movie was released, so that put it back on my radar for sure. And I think this is kind of a literary gothic horror, and I'm so excited. Then we have Cheese Sweet Home Volume 10, which I got from my best friend, and this one is definitely one I will keep for a readathon. And we have Disability Intimacy, Essays on Love, Care and Desire by Alice Wong, which I got from my mum, and this one I have on my Asian Readathon TBR for May. Then we have Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Again, I got this one from my mum, and this one I will read this year because this is one of the authors I wanted to try this year. So keep this for a little bit longer. Then we have Monstrous Volume 9 as well. This is the next volume in my favorite and only comic series, and I can't wait to read this one. And a gift from my friend Jess, I will link her channel down below as well, was A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, and I'm very excited to get to this one. Last but not least, we have Faithbreaker by Hannah Kaner. Now, this one comes with the caveat that I do want to read the whole trilogy again, so this technically counts for 3 books I want to read because this is the finale in the series. So right now the TBR stands at 8 books. Next up, I quickly want to go through the books again that are on my spring TBR. I already did a whole video on that, so I don't want to repeat myself endlessly. We're gonna keep it nice and short. We have the Between Earth and Sky series, that is Black Sun, Fevered Star and Mirrored Heavens by Rebecca Roanhorse. One of the series I want to marathon read this year, so this will get read. We have The Mountain and the Sea by Ray Naylor. This was a gift as well. Then we have the German edition of My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. The 120 Days of Sodom by Marquis de Sade, a erotica classic. Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, the sequel to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. This collection of stories and fairy tales by Oscar Wilde. A German book called Die Unglückseligen by Thea Dorn. This also was a gift. And The Woman's History of the Modern World by Rosalind Miles. With this, the TBR sits at 18 books. Next up, we have a rather small stack, and that is the books that were on my winter TBR that I did not get around to. We have The Great Circle by Maggie Shipstead, The God of Lost Words by H.A. Hackworth. Again, with this one, I want to reread the first 2 books and then get to this one, so it's technically 3 books that I need to read. Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood. And The Secret Years by Judith Lennox. This is a German edition. Okay, so now we have reached 22 books on the TBR. And now the next couple of books are the ones you will see on my seasonal TBRs, so going forward on the summer and autumn TBR of this year. We have a short story collection in German, Katzen lieben Weihnachten, a cat story collection for Christmas. Mord by Terry Pratchett. Then we have Lu Andrea Salome by Kerstin Decker, a biography of a very interesting woman in history. We have Queer Love in Color by Jamal Jordan. We have Murder, She Meowed by Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie Brown. Now, in this series, technically, I do own quite a few more of the books. However, I do not want to marathon read the series, so I'm only counting the next one I need to read. Then we have 3 Cups of Tea by Greg Mortensen and David Oliver Rellan. This was also a gift. The Unwomanly Face of War by Svetlana Alexievich. Then we have Anyway the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell. Again, I would love to reread the first 2 books before I get to the finale, so technically this is 3 books. Links wo das Herz ist by Leonard Frank. This is a German classic. Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. This was also a gift. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is still a little bit like tentative. I still don't really think I want to read this. I don't know, but I have it. So this is by Victor Hugo. Another German classic, my grandma got me this, Ein weites Feld by Günter Grass. And another German book, Die Weiße Maasai by Corinne Hofmann. Last but not least, we have these 3 volumes of the fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm. So 2 of these are the stories and 1 is just notes. And this brings the TBR to 38. I have 1 book on my nightstand that I forgot to get, and that is Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls. And that means we're at 39. Okay, so we have 39 physical reads that I still need to do. However, I also did a little audiobook haul, so I did not have an audiobook backlog to read. I do now, so I want to go through these quickly now too. So the first thing I bought was the Bone Witch trilogy by Rin Chupeco. So we have the Bone Witch, the Heart Forger, and the Shadow Glass. Again, this is one of the series I want to read this year, so this will definitely get read. Then I got They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. This is a thriller I've heard quite a bit about. We have Butter Honey Pig Bread by Francesca Equiazzi, which I have heard a lot about on the channel Life Worth Reading. I will link that down below. Then we have Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. I definitely need to start my Chuck Tingle journey. We have Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. I read my first S.A. Cosby book, Blacktop Wasteland, this year. Absolutely loved it, so I need more. Then we have Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne, a cozy fantasy. I think there will be a point in time when I need one. And then Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, a book that I had on my wishlist for a very long time. And I got all of these audiobooks in the Libro FM sale, which was pretty amazing because I think I paid like 20 some euros for all 9 of these, which was ridiculous. So with that, technically my TBR is at 48 books. And with 3 of these, I do want to reread 2 books each, so that means 6 books on top of that. So we're getting into kind of a ridiculous area of my reading, but we'll see how it goes. I think 50 books for 6 months is kind of like my usual speed. I have read around 100 books in the previous 2 years. So with the summer off, that might be higher. I really hope so, because if it's not, this is not gonna happen, because I will still be acquiring new books. Now that's kind of the thing with my serial TBR, is that the only rule is that I have to make it as difficult as possible, which is not very smart. However, it might be fun. And because today I got that book from Clio, I thought I make a promise now that I might regret very soon. And that promise is that if I do not reach a 0 TBR by the end of my sabbatical, I will do an I read every book on my TBR at once series. Clio did one of those. It was like the highlight of my fall because it was such a fun series, and I would highly recommend you go check it out on her channel. I don't know if she has a dedicated playlist for it, but if she does, I will link that playlist. And it was so fun because she literally read all of the books she had on her TBR at the same time, which was always around 10-ish or so, not 50. So I wouldn't do it right now. But if I do not reduce this TBR during my sabbatical in the way that I want to, I will do it, I promise. You hold me to it. Clio can make the rules. Okay, that's it for me. I hope you had fun watching this. Definitely let me know. Like, an estimate is okay, but like, how many books are on your physical TBR? I would love to hear, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!